Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we will talk about nasal polyps. So what are nasal polyps? So these are painless ingrowths that occur inside the nasal cavity. Now how do they occur? So there's a nasal mucosa, wet layer of nasal mucosa which protects the inside layer of nose from dry air, bacteria and other things. So when the dry air enters the nose and it enters the sinuses also, this nasal mucosa which is wet, it actually begins to dry out and it occurs in the congestion of the sinuses and also some part of the nasal cavity. And if this congestion is overlooked, then the nasal mucosa becomes red, inflamed and the pain starts to occur at that site. And again, if we overlook this symptom also, it continues to worsen and it forms small polyp-like structure inside of the nose. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Nandini Maniyar. I have completed my BAMS from Tilak Ayurved College, Pune, and I am currently pursuing my dream of becoming an MD doctor in Rasashastra and Vaishajya Kalpa. So now there's a myth that are nasal polyps cancerous. Normally people think that any kind of bulging in our body is nothing but cancer. But let me tell you, that's not true. Nasal polyps are absolutely non-cancerous and they are not hazardous or fatal. So let's get to know what are the major triggers that cause the nasal polyps. Firstly, like every organ, we have to maintain the hygiene of the nasal cavity. That's the most important trigger. If not taken care of, then all the other effects follow and it causes many of the nasal tract infections. Then dry air, less humidity of the nasal cavity also results into the major trigger of the nasal polyp. And the most important trigger, that is avoiding all the symptoms of the acute sinusitis. Because in Ayurveda also they tell us that we have to identify and diminish any kind of disease in its first stage. There are 6 stages called as Shat Kriyakal, and according to that, in the first 2 stages only we have to diagnose the disease and treat them. Now if we avoid acute sinusitis, it gets converted into chronic sinusitis, and major symptom of chronic sinusitis is formation of nasal polyps. Now how do we know we have nasal polyps? So the major symptom is whenever we touch this area of the nose, there's a hint or bulge formation inside the nose. We can feel it by our hand also. Then there is irritation in the nasal passage. There is a relentless amount of sneezing and there is blockage of nose. We are not able to drain away the mucus and the sinus cavities because of the blockage. Now the preventive measures for nasal polyps. Firstly, you have to use a mask whenever you step out of the home. Then avoid being in dry areas and too much humid areas also. Then use a humidifier, use essential oils to keep the nasal passage free from air or pollution or allergens. Then we can also do Neti Kriya, that is very famous in Ayurveda. In this, you can use salt water and you can rinse the nasal cavity. In this way, your nasal cavity gets clean and it gets free from allergens, pollens, and it gets cured in some way. So people, this was about nasal polyps. Hope this information was useful to you. Until then, please take care of your health.